Hello everyone, Sara here with Levelistic Living and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the 6 main differences between the eating habits of Italians versus American. And I just want to share a little disclaimer here. I have been raised for about 24 years of my life in Italy, okay? My family's still there. I'm from the northern part of Italy, a city called Brescia, which is 1 hour east of Milan, okay? And I came to the United States about 6 years ago, and I traveled before that for about 2 years all over the world. And anything that I share today in this video, I just want you to know that comes from the bottom of my heart to wanting to share and also wanting to share what I've learned. I love both cultures. I wouldn't be here if I didn't love the American cultures, and I am so grateful and lucky that I was raised in Italy, because I think the best combination is, to be honest, the middle of this cultures. One is very old and very static in that sense of like, Italians have their mindset and we are so proud of it. And we're kind of like a little bit stuck in that way, even though I believe it's one of the best way of living and having like a great lifestyle and a great relationship with food. And then the American one, it's a very dynamic new culture, lots of new ideas and things that we as Italians, like, we've never tried before. We see on TVs and we're like, oh my God, like, this is amazing. And then I come over here and this is normal for a lot of people. So for me, everything that I'm hearing, it comes from my own experience. And also, I want to share what I do like and what I really don't like and what it's like to be raising my kids in America. So stay with me and we're gonna start with the main first difference. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe and give it a thumbs up if you like this topic, and if you want me to talk more about the differences between these two cultures or anything that you have in mind, please comment below and I'll make sure to do a video. So we do have regular meal times in Italy versus here, which I'm noticing, and I'm actually coaching women to help them lose weight naturally. And what I'm seeing from the women that I work with, but also from the people that I spent time with, is that there is a lot of snacking, okay? And it's kind of like a meal culture versus a snacking culture. And honestly, I do prefer meal times because having regular meal times, it helps your metabolism to regulate itself. It also helps with hormonal balance because your body needs a routine for it to produce certain hormones, and also at the end of the day to kind of stop or reduce that high cortisol level so that you can start producing higher amounts of melatonin when it actually gets darker, and so promote good sleep and lower stress and all of that, okay? So we want to keep that great routine in place and having around like 3 meals a day, and I do 2 snacks in between the breakfast and lunch and dinner. They're small snacks. They're not very like high calorie snacks. Usually it's like a piece of fruit or yogurt, and I have learned that from actually being raised over there. So one thing that I have to say is that we do have regular meal times, so everybody is on the same page, okay? So all those businesses, they take that break, or restaurants, they work from 12 to about 2:30, and then they close down, okay? You can't really go and have lunch at 4 p.m. in the afternoon like many over here. And I've worked in many restaurants in the United States, and obviously I see that a lot. People get into having lunch either at 11 or like at 3 or 4 in the afternoon, and that's something that doesn't really happen in Italy because we have regular meal times, so everybody's on the same page and we do respect those times. Okay, this leads me to the second main difference, which is we cherish meal times as a ritual. And meal times for our sacred moments to spend either with yourself or with family, okay? So we sit down, okay? Main difference here, we sit down when you eat. You don't eat in the car. You wait, you go to a park, you sit, you find a nice place where you can like rest, because for us it's sacred, okay? So you can't really enjoy the food that you're eating if you're driving in traffic, or if you're moving at a very fast pace, or if you're stressed out. So kind of honoring that time, like if it was something sacred, and that could be well integrated in your like self-care, which means like give that some time, give it a thought, sit down with yourself, maybe prepare the table, light a candle. And I do that with my kids. I make sure that I'm constantly and lovingly repeating to them that we sit down at the table and we share a story or we talk. And that's for us is a very sacred time to come together. Obviously, when I'm with them like all day, we do sit down 3 times a day. Snacks, we can be anywhere, but usually the 3 meals, they help me prepare the table and to also clean up the table most of the times. And they're 3 and 5, so they're starting to get that routine in my house. And I love that. I grew up like that, and that's something that I want them to feel that it's normal. And so the difference here is really what I'm noticing living here is that people don't really pay attention, or they minimize like lunch, okay? Lunch is inexistent versus snacking, and they do really cherish dinner time, but it's only 1 meal a day, okay? Everything else is on the go. While we have set meals, and also we do sit down. And so what I'm noticing is that people don't really sit down here. They're so much on the go that everything is so like fast paced while driving, while walking. And that actually leads me to the next main difference, eating habits, which is everything on the go here in the United States. You know, cups to go, like let's have your coffee to go, let's have your lunch to go. And in Italy, there is not really to go food or drinks. You know, the only thing that you're going to find, and I'm not actually referring to big cities like Milan or Rome or Florence, okay, where there is plenty of tourists and they've adapted themselves to that particular demand. But I'm actually talking about the rest of Italy. You can only get pizza to go, and you need to sit down for all the other things. If you are drinking a cappuccino, if you're having a croissant, okay, like if you're having lunch, you usually sit down. There is not really a to-go box over there. The next main difference that I found living here is that here food is available 24/7. It's available in Home Depot, and it's available at CVS, and it's not really like the healthiest of these snacks. Like in Italy, you can't really go to a pharmacy and find Mars bars or Twix bars or Coca-Cola, okay? So you will only find like super healthy baby foods and or drugs like medicine. Here it's totally different. So it was actually shocking to me to come here and find food available everywhere. And I have to say that it's a little bit hard when I take my kids to Home Depot and they see all those snacks, even though I don't think they ever tried those snacks, but they see it, it's colorful, it looks different, it actually looks like a snack, and they're like, mommy, I want some. And I'm always like, okay, like it's not food time right now, okay? We've had our snacks and we're going to have lunch. Like I'm constantly repeating to them in a very loving and compassionate way that we do have different food and we do have meal times because our body needs to rest and our metabolism needs to rest and things like that. So that's one of the main big difference, because it trains yourself that food is available whenever, and you're really not trained to stop eating. You have to be very determined in that sense. While in Italy, you don't really find food available that much. You can't go to a Home Depot and find food, okay? You either go to a restaurant and you sit down and wait for like 45 minutes to have and be served, or you go to what we call bar, which is a cafe over here, and you find maybe a slice of pizza or a croissant or an ice cream, but it's kind of, you have to go to that place, okay? So having less food available, less choices around, it really helps when you're trying to create new healthy habits, especially eating habits. The next big difference that I've noticed is definitely the portion control. And I'm actually retraining all the women that I work with around portion control, because I feel there is no clue what is a real portion, because I'm always asking, okay, how many ounces of coffee you're drinking? Oh, I only drink a cup. And I'm like, okay, what's a cup for you? And some people say 16 ounces. Some people say 32 of a juice, or I don't know, coffee a day. And I'm like, well, if 8 ounces is 1 cup, then if you're drinking 16 ounces, that's already 2 cups then. So I do the math with them, and they realize how much they're actually drinking or eating. And the portion size in the States is definitely on the bigger size. And from an European perspective, I always have to cut it in half or know that there is enough for me and the kids, because I know the portion size of what we are used to over there. And I've traveled in like a lot of the other states of Europe and in Italy as well. And let me tell you that the portions are way smaller, and not in a sense that you're gonna starve, but in a sense that that's enough for you, okay? So that portion is great. And usually if you need a range right now, well, I'm going to tell you that if you cut everything in half, you're going to find more or less that portion for one person, okay? And as well as drinks. When I go and get a juice or a cappuccino, I always ask for the smallest size. I'm like, what's your smallest size, okay? Because I don't really need, and my body doesn't really need all of that all at once. So that's definitely a main difference. I have to say that it's kind of cheaper this way, because I can get like one big meal and share it with my kids, and we still have, either we finish it or we have leftovers, because obviously it's like having 2 people eating. And so I have to say that it's a little bit cheaper over here, and I find that I like it that way right now. And I always have leftovers in the fridge, yummy, and I source my, where I buy the food really, really well. And so I like it that way. But I also like that in Italy, I don't have to worry about portion control, because the portions are already great. So I find myself liking both in different times of my life. And the last main difference that I'm going to share with you guys today is pretty much, in Italy, there is a big emphasis on quality versus quantity. So when you are face to face with a real Italian, especially when they invite you for dinner, or you kind of always talk about food anyway, and you need to know that they really want quality. And I was very overly perfectionist in this sense. And I kind of chilled out a little bit over here, and I'm like, okay, like this is perfect. This is, I don't need to overachieve here, but I do source my ingredients to find like the highest quality of products, because definitely I want to choose foods that are great and nutritious for my body. So I would have to say that here there is a little bit less attention, and I'm not saying to everyone in particular, but of sourcing quality versus quantity. And this is really not up to you guys, but in Europe and in Italy, quality food is a lot more available to all of us, and it's cheaper, meaning you can find really good quality ingredients at normal price, at an affordable price. While here, I have to pay double or triple of what I pay in Italy for like a great mozzarella. It's kind of like very unusual for me, but I am living here, so I kind of made peace with that part of my life, and I'm choosing the best quality that allows for me to be the healthiest version of myself, and also for my kids to be raised, I would say, very like well and conscious around food. So that's really not up to you guys, but if you do have a choice, then go for the highest quality, because in the long run it's going to help with maintaining an overall well-being and health within yourself. So I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please subscribe and give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more, just leave a comment and I'll make more of these videos. In the meantime, a big and warm ciao!